Buying Zcash at $300 could be like buying Bitcoin at $300. In today's video, I'm going to be covering my full price analysis for Zcash in 2025. This is one of the most bullish coins for this crypto bull run. So let's not waste any more time and cover Zcash. One of the first points I want to cover is we got this major breakout of this trend line that's been acting as a resistance literally since back 2018, 2021, and even early in 2025, actually late 2024, it acted as another strong resistance, but we finally got this huge strong breakout. Even just in 2025, we're up more than 1,200%. If we look at the breakout from this trend line, actually nearly a 500% gain. We still have a massively uptrending exponential moving average, which means that we have a massively high probability to continue to the upside. I'll give you some price projections a little bit later on in the video. I do want to cover here the current price action. It's basically been a form of a descending triangle. So how we're going to measure this triangle and see from the top to the bottom, we'll get the measuring tool and actually see where the breakout level was. It's actually projecting price to push close to $2,800 per coin. When we also use some Fibonacci, we use the Fibonacci trend-based extension. So right here, I'm going to go from the bottom, the all-time current low for 2024. I'm going to extend it up to this major push in 2024 and then down to this low in 2025 and now extend the price out. So let's see where we actually do get some confluence. One point I do want to cover, coming over here to CMC, see the current market cap of Zcash, just shy of $6 billion, currently putting it as the top 23rd crypto out of all. And currency a fully diluted valuation as well, nearly 8 billion. So there is a few coins to come out. One point that I do want to make, coming down and seeing spot and perpetuals and futures for overall Zcash. So we can see currently spot on an exchange like Binance, currently say 461 million. But in terms of perpetuals on the same exchange, we're seeing nearly $2 billion. So a lot of the volume currently driven on Zcash is futures trading, and the difference between futures traders and spot traders are buying and actually holding the coin in their wallet, potentially more long-term holders in comparison to futures traders, whereas futures traders are actually more short-term traders. They're taking advantage of short-term moves in the market, taking advantage of being able to use a lot of leverage and a lot of cheap pricing, a lot of cheap fees. So they'll be taking advantage of short-term movements and either shorting or buying and also getting out quite quickly. We can also come over and see on CoinGlass the open interest for Zcash. So if we're covering the orange line right here is the current price for Zcash. And we can see open interest, which is basically the amount of open futures traders. So people that are trading on leverage, people that are trading futures, not holding spot. You can see the price is near direct correlation between the amount of short-term futures traders and the overall price. So as we see back in this region, in early or late 2024 to early 2025, we saw there was a massive correlation between a huge uptick in price and a huge uptick in overall open interest. And basically the exact same thing is happening right now, where we can see we've had a huge uptick in open interest, a lot of people taking futures trades, opening 10x leverage positions or more. And we've also seen that direct correlation with price. So a lot of short-term traders in Zcash, which isn't the most optimal thing to see. We would like to see a lot more spot traders, a lot more people are potentially accumulating weekly Zcash, similar to how they accumulate weekly BTC or other cryptos, adding that to their accumulation pile. So that's a very interesting point, and the way you can see that is going down to this market section and comparing the spots versus the perpetuals. The perpetuals is always going to be more, but it's also a great point to actually cover here. So especially on this weekly chart, we're definitely expecting another upside breakout. If we do have any rejection, like right here, we're coming back to this 2021 high. So currently there's a lot of support below, especially as the EMA continues to rise. That's going to definitely act as a medium-term support zone. Anytime price goes below that EMA, people are going to begin to accumulate, because anytime we're coming back to the average price after a near 1200% move, people are going to basically be licking their lips and saying, finally, we're at the average price. Basically, even back here in these areas, we can see when price actually began to extend out here, the EMA was all the way back at 65, but price is all the way up here at 166. So we're 100 to 200% away from the average price. So when price finally comes back, it's definitely going to be long-term, medium-term bullish. Another point I do want to cover right here is we do have a one-to-one measured move extension. It's one of my own personal trading strategies that I love. Here we can see we actually have a trend bar, and a third trend bar. It's quite close to a doji, but I will count it as a trend bar, especially after we have this 1200% move to the upside, and it is less than 40% of the overall bar. So I'm actually going to use my one-to-one extension, where I use the rectangle tool. I measure from the bottom of the body of the first bar to the top of the body of the last bar. So we've got 3 bars here. I'm then going to Control-C, copy that, actually make that one-to-one. So we extend it right here, and we now see we have a one-to-one extension actually hitting around that $1,300 price zone. And that also nearly comes in correlation or in confluence with this old near all-time high back in this 2017 to 2018 region. So there's a little bit of confluence, but also one-to-one measured move showing that 1200% zone. We can also use some Fibonacci trend-based extensions, or even some just Fibonacci retracements, where we go from this low in 2024, extend it across. Currently, it looks like we're actually hitting the top of these extension zones. And as I said, if we do have a small downturn, definitely won't be overall bullish. We've got a one-to-one measured move that's extending price quite high. We've also got the EMA rising from below. One of my favorite ways to see short-term price, if we're still going to have another extension to the upside, or if we could be cooling off, is by using this RSI. So right here, we have been making high extensions to the upside right here. To actually come back, use this tool. We made a high in RSI, we made a high in price, we then made a lower high in RSI, but we made a higher high in price. So currently, if we do continue up, say we actually extend up and make a high in this region, that's going to show that price makes a higher high in price, but a lower high in the RSI. So again, even short term, we could have a little bit of price volatility, but that's definitely normal. That's definitely expected. It's happened in Bitcoin. It's happened in nearly it's happened with every single crypto. So volatility is always our friend, but this is something you definitely want to be focusing on, especially on the short term. So it could be really an accumulation zone where if we do see a strong downtick in price, we can go back to the weekly chart, and really where I'd be looking for any accumulation personally would be anywhere below this exponential moving average. Sure, that is quite a heavy drop from here. I don't expect it to get that heavy of a drop, but as the EMA continues to rise, anytime price goes below there, that's always my personal signal to continue, especially after we've seen, say, a 1200% to the upside. The probability is definitely in favor of another continued move. So there we have it for Zcash. Definitely bullish, definitely a lot of traders, a lot of interest right now. If you have enjoyed the video, I will make a future update for Zcash. Comment below what you believe the price will be for Zcash during this 2025 crypto bull run. If you have enjoyed, smash the like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.